Welcome to The Explainer. And before we dive into today's fascinating look at the evolution of signatures, please press the like button and the subscribe button. I really appreciate it because it helps us keep bringing you these deep dives. All right, let's jump right into this. Today, we're exploring a massive shift in how the world does business. We're looking at how the tedious, honestly super frustrating process of signing documents has completely transformed. We're talking about shifting from those ink-stained stacks of paper to a seamless, high-tech experience that's actually designed for a digital-first world. I want you to really think about the old manual paperwork routine for a second. You know the drill, the printing, the physical signing, the scanning, those endless back-and-forth handoffs. Ask yourself, why did we ever tolerate a process that simply could not keep up with our fast-moving world? Over the past decade or so, digital workplaces have shifted from being just, a nice-to-have option to being absolutely essential. And as businesses accelerated, manual paperwork literally became this incredibly heavy anchor, just dragging down productivity and global collaboration. So let's get into part one, moving past paper, the digital shift. Okay, so with the explosive rise of remote work and global teams, traditional paper-based processes, they quickly turned obsolete. We rapidly transitioned from what you might call the agonizing speed of the postal service, where we're dealing with physical storage or, at best, emailing clunky PDFs back and forth, to the lightning-fast speed of business. Today, companies rely on these integrated technology ecosystems. Digital workflows actually integrate electronic signatures directly into the CRM systems and communication platforms that businesses are already using every single day. So you aren't leaving your software to sign a document. The signing happens exactly where you're already working. It's a real game changer. Which brings us to part two, legal green light, global regulations. Now, for digital workflows to truly replace pen and paper, the technology needed absolute global legitimacy. It couldn't just be convenient, right? It had to hold up in court. And this brilliantly illustrates how governments responded to that exact need. They stepped up by establishing clear legal frameworks. In the United States, we saw the eSign Act and UETA. Over in the European Union, they rolled out the EIDAS framework. And under these specific requirements, governments effectively gave electronic signatures the exact same legal standing as handwritten ones. So the absolutely crucial point here is that this legal green light empowers businesses on a massive scale. With global community approval, organizations can now execute international contracts remotely, sign documents across borders, and drastically reduce their physical paperwork, all while maintaining perfectly compliant audit trails. Think about a tech company in Silicon Valley hiring a lead developer in Berlin. They can finalize a complex, legally binding employment contract in minutes instead of weeks. It's not just faster, it's legally ironclad. All right, moving on to part three, next-gen security, modern innovations. Let's see how modern innovations transform signatures from just a convenient alternative into highly secure cryptographic tools, because today they're smarter, faster, and much more secure than they have ever been. First up is PKI, or Public Key Infrastructure. Now, I know that sounds incredibly complex, but it essentially functions as an unbreakable digital lock-in key system for verifying exactly who you are. It relies on a pair of cryptographic keys. One is private to you and one is public. Think of your private key like a completely unique physical key that only you hold, and the public key as the specific lock it goes into, which anyone can inspect, but only your key can turn. So here's exactly how that works in practice. When you sign a digital document, your private key steps in and creates a highly unique encryption for that specific file. Then, only the corresponding public key can decrypt it to verify the signature. If a single comma or word in that document is altered after you sign it, boom, the encryption instantly breaks, alerting everyone to the tampering. It's a mathematically brilliant way to ensure that the person signing is exactly who they claim to be and that the document remains entirely pristine. Next up, we have blockchain technology, which introduces a decentralized method to the signing process. By distributing the verification process across a vast network of computers rather than relying on a single central server, blockchain makes tampering with your critical documents virtually impossible. It's a massive leap forward for data integrity. Imagine a complex scenario like closing on a house across state lines. Multiple parties, buyers, sellers, agents, lenders, they all need absolute, indisputable proof of exactly when and what was signed without relying on a middleman. Blockchain provides exactly that level of certainty. The system works by recording every single signed document as a secure block. It then links that block into a continuous chain to track all activity. Because each block contains cryptographic data from the previous block, you literally cannot alter one piece of information without rewriting the entire chain across the whole global network. This innovation is a total lifesaver for businesses that are regularly handling international transactions, massive supply chain agreements, or highly sensitive intellectual property, because it provides a completely transparent and unalterable history of the agreement.
And finally, let's look at part 4, smart signatures, AI, and automation.
We aren't just securing documents anymore. We're actually making the workflow itself intelligent. Imagine having an automated digital watchdog standing guard over your business's most important contracts. Well, that's essentially what AI workflow automation brings to the table. It's constantly monitoring, verifying, and facilitating the process to ensure that only the right people are signing at the exact right time, completely removing the element of human error from agreement management. When properly implemented, an AI brain handles the heavy lifting across the board. It acts like extra sets of hands managing multiple tools at once. It verifies authenticity by analyzing biometrics or even subtle behavioral data, like typing speed and screen interactions. It automatically catches and flags suspicious activities, like a signature suddenly originating from an unusual geographic location, instantly routing it for further review. It also streamlines your day by accurately pre-filling documents based on historical data, and it even enhances the user experience with adaptive signing workflows tailored to individual needs. It's doing all the tedious analytical work so you don't have to.
To verify that authenticity, we've completely moved past the old way of solely relying on easily compromised passwords and PINs. Honestly, those archaic systems are like broken locks in a modern world. We are now stepping firmly into the highly secure era of biometric document authentication. Digital signatures can now seamlessly include fingerprint scans, high-definition facial recognition, and even voice verification to ensure absolute total security. It binds the agreement not just to an email address, but to the actual physical presence of the signer.
By embracing these next-generation digital-first signatures, businesses are completely revolutionizing their efficiency. They're enhancing security to unprecedented levels, dramatically streamlining their internal operations, and ultimately creating a deeply seamless workflow that significantly improves client satisfaction. Let's be real, nobody wants to hunt down a printer or a scanner just to sign a contract anymore. It really is the future of agreements, built from the ground up for modern, unhindered efficiency.
Which brings us to a fascinating final thought for you to consider. As our technology continues to evolve, outpacing physical paper in absolutely every conceivable way, what will become the ultimate, undeniable proof of our identity in this completely digital-first world? Will it be our biometrics, our cryptographic keys, or something we haven't even invented yet? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.